Today, we'll be walking through the process of setting up your new SkyPrep platform. After purchasing a subscription, you should receive your login credentials and the platform URL where you can log in. After logging in, you'll be taken to the dashboard. At first, you won't see much information here as your platform is entirely empty. Once there's been activity though, it will populate with important information such as upcoming course deadlines and re-enrollments and completion breakdowns. To begin the actual setup process, click on the cog icon in the upper right and click on Branding and Customization. Here you can change a platform name, which is displayed in browser tabs and outgoing email notifications. You can also find the steps to customize your domain by clicking on Learn More under the domain heading. You can also upload a logo shown in the upper left corner of your platform, the top of the login form, and your custom certificates, together with a custom favicon, which is the image displayed in the browser tab. Finally, we have the login page background image that lets you customize the login page and the navigation color picker for the bar at the top. When you're satisfied, click on the Update Branding button. Let's move over to the System Configuration area, also found by clicking on the cog icon. Welcome screens are shown as soon as the learner logs in. They can be used for announcements, walkthroughs, or anything else that you can think of. Click on the Add a Screen button to start making your welcome message. You'll be presented with a page where you can give the screen a title and add the description. You can also attach an image or a video from your materials list using the Pick from Existing Content drop-down menu. Moving over to Settings, you'll be able to finalize most of your initial configuration here. Since there are a lot of features, we recommend taking some time to read through all of them, but we'll cover the most important ones now. First off, we have the default platform time zone. This is the time zone that new users will be created with. While it's possible to change it for individual users, it's important to set it correctly as it affects many things, including course start times and your reporting. Next, we have notification email sent from. By default, outgoing platform notifications will be sent from mailer@skyprep.com. If you enter an email address here, platform emails will appear to originate from it and all your replies will be forwarded as well. Admin-only mode locks the platform to all non-admin users, useful for when you're doing large-scale changes or updates to your platform or content. Document Viewer lets you choose a service that displays your content in the platform. You can change this to customize the look as well as maximize compatibility in the event that there are strict firewall settings. Lastly, the API Key Manager button will take you to a page that shows all of your current API keys, along with a button to create new ones for integrations that you want to build or support. The Certificate Template tab is where your custom certificates of completion are located. While there's a default one provided, you can create your own using HTML code. In the upper right corner, you'll see the Documentation button. These placeholders can be inserted into the code and will be automatically filled out when the certificate is generated. For example, if you place name as text in your code, a learner's first name and last name will be generated in place of the placeholder. When you're done, don't forget to save your changes. In the Email Templates tab, you can customize the email notifications that are sent to both learners and admins. Just use the checkboxes to select the ones that you want to enable. To customize them, click on the name of the email and you'll be taken to the editor. The placeholders shown on the left can be inserted into the email template and function just like the ones in their certificate templates. Make the changes you want, then click Save Template. Lastly, we have the Custom Labels tab. This area lets you change the number of fields that are available in a user's profile, along with what each of the fields are labeled. To turn them on or off, use the checkboxes on the left. The Label field lets you change what the field itself is called. You can also designate required fields and hide others from non-admins. The default value can also be used as placeholders in certificates and emails. When either are sent, whatever is entered into that user's respective field will be inputted in the placeholder's location. Next up in the Settings panel, we have the Learner UI Settings page. Here you can choose a default way learners will see their courses, either in a list or a grid view on their main page. The default course look can also be set here as well, which we'll be showcasing a bit later on. Both of these are just defaults and can be overridden on an individual basis. The widgets allow you to customize what is shown on the learner's dashboards. You can add them using the buttons below the list. Hovering over a widget will allow you to reorder it, remove it, as well as edit its content if applicable. The Last Activity widget provides an easy way to access the last item that the learner viewed. My Current Learning lists all of the incomplete courses and learning paths that they are enrolled in. Recently Passed Courses shows courses that the learner completed in the last 2 weeks, while My Calendar shows important dates such as course deadlines and instructor-led training sessions. Announcement Board lets you post announcements using text, images, videos, and links. And finally, Learner Dashboard Image allows you to insert a custom image. Below the widgets, you'll find the chatbot toggle. If enabled, it will help learners view their upcoming deadlines and live training. It will also recommend training based on the skills they want to acquire and show content based on their search terms. When you're finished, click the Save Changes button. Last up in the settings area, we have the Security and Compliance page. The maximum login attempts field lets you specify how many times a user can enter an incorrect password before their account is temporarily disabled. When the limit has been reached, they will receive a message stating that they have been locked out and that they will need to contact a platform administrator to regain access. To restore a suspended user's access, click on View Suspended Accounts. This will bring up a window that lists all of the suspended users. Click on the ones that you want to restore, then on Reactivate Accounts. Automatic Logouts allows you to set the number of minutes that can elapse before a warning message is displayed. In this message, there's a 5-minute countdown that, if not dismissed, will log the user out. By setting up the password expiry interval, you can choose how long a password is valid for. Lastly, if you require an admin audit, you can use the Administrator Logs button in the upper right. It will let you specify a date range, and once chosen, will generate a report that contains all administrative actions taken during that time period. Now that your initial platform setup has been completed, we can begin the process of creating your training. Let's get started by adding some material. To begin adding items, click on Training Elements at the top of the page and click on Materials. Click the Add Material button on the upper right corner of the page to open the uploader. The Single File option allows you to add files one at a time. Click Select File to open the uploader. You will also be able to add content directly from online services such as Dropbox or Google Drive using this button. Multiple files is similar to single file, but allows you to add multiple files at the same time. However, for content that exists on your desktop, you can simply drag and drop the content onto the page. Content Builder will let you access our built-in material creation tool. Click on the Launch Content Builder button and drag and drop the tiles on the right into the page on the left. YouTube and Vimeo allow you to add videos from the respective platforms. All you'll need is a URL from your browser. If you want to add content from a website, use Embed Link. However, keep in mind that only HTTPS websites are supported and HTTP websites are not. After entering the URL, you can enable the Should this link be embedded option to have the website displayed in your platform. If you do not see this option, click outside of the text field after entering the URL. The Rich HTML option is a basic text creation tool with the ability to also create content using HTML code. And finally, SCORM 1.2 package and AICC are specific to this file format. If you have any SCORM 1.2 or AICC content, they must be uploaded using the correct option. Using drag and drop or the single/multiple file options will not work. To help organize your content, it's recommended to use a folder feature. You can create folders by clicking on the New Folder button. If you want to create a subfolder, click on the folder you want to add the folder to, then on the New Folder button. When you're uploading content, just make sure in the folder that you want the content to be housed in before you upload it. Also in the Materials area, we have the Knowledge Check Builder lets you add additional functionality to your content, such as pop-up questions. To begin using the Knowledge Check feature, just click on the item that you want to add the Knowledge Check to. Go to the Knowledge Check tab, then on the Launch Knowledge Check Builder button. To start building your Knowledge Check, click on the Add Knowledge Check button. If your content is a document, you'll be asked to enter the page number that the check will be added to. If your content is a video, you will have to enter the time at which a check will appear. Here you will have several options: adding questions, adding a voiceover, or editing the page rules if the item is a document. To add a question, click on the Add Question button. Enter your question and set the response type. If multiple choice is chosen, you will need to enter the answer options. Click on the Add Option button to add an additional choice, the trash icon to remove a choice, and use the checkbox to designate the correct answer. If you chose true or false, check the checkbox if the answer is true and leave it unchecked if it's false. Lastly, if you choose fill in the blank, enter the correct phrase in the text box. If there are multiple acceptable answers, separate them using a comma. For example, 2, 2. Once finished, click on Save Question. You can continue adding additional questions to the same page or time by clicking on the Add Question button. To add a voiceover, click on the Add button. On the following page, you can toggle between using a microphone to record a voiceover or uploading one. You can replace, delete, and preview the voiceover once it's been uploaded. Make sure you click Save once you're finished. The Page Rules panel allows you to set different behavior for your content. Block this page completely will prevent this page or the slide from showing. This will also automatically turn off your other settings. Slides or pages with mandatory completion will need to be viewed in order for the module to be marked as completed. If a minimum viewing time is set, learners will also need to spend the specified number of seconds viewing the page or slide before it's considered complete. Filling in the automatically advanced page field will make the page or slide automatically transition to the next one after the specified amount of seconds. Clicking on the cog will allow you to modify the page and time, as well as choose a question pop-up style. You can choose between the banner style that overlays the question on top of the content, or the non-intrusive style that has the question pop up in a corner without obstructing the content itself. You can also choose to hide the skip option that is displayed on questions if you require all of them to be answered. To add another knowledge check on a different page or at a different time, click on All Triggers and click on the Add Another Trigger button. Alternatively, you can use the arrow in the upper right to minimize a panel and click on the original Add Knowledge Check button. Now that we've covered knowledge checks, let's move over to more formal testing with assessments. To create an assessment, click on Assessments in the Training Elements area, then on Create Assessment. Give the assessment a name and click on the Create Assessment button. To start adding questions to your assessment, click on Assessment Questions, then on Add Question. Use the question type options at the top to select the style of question. Multiple choice, true and false, and fill-in-the-blank questions are created the same way as in the knowledge checks area and will be automatically graded by the platform. Short answers are the only type of questions that are not automatically graded by the platform. Also unique to this question format is the ability to allow learners to upload files as part of their answers. Just keep adding questions to build out your assessment. If you want to add some question variety, you can use the Random Question Bank feature to add randomly chosen questions from different categories. To create a question for the question bank, click on Random Question Bank, then on Create Question for Random Question Bank. You'll need to create a new category before creating the question. Categories are used to customize which questions appear. For example, you can insert 3 questions from category A and 5 questions from category B. After creating and selecting the category, click Create Question and create it as normal. Do this for all categories and questions you want, then go back to Assessment Questions. Use the drop-down menu to select Add Random Questions, then choose the category you want to add. In the General Settings tab, you'll be able to modify the assessment settings. One of the more important settings is Passing Grade, which lets you specify the percentage grade that a learner must achieve in order to successfully complete the assessment. Shuffle Question Order randomizes the question order each time the assessment is taken. Time Limit restricts the number of minutes that a learner has to complete the assessment, while maximum number of attempts sets how many times a learner can attempt the assessment. Hours between attempts determines how long a user must wait before reattempting the assessment, and lastly, Prevent Access to Courses during assessment attempts will lock the user out of every course until they've submitted the assessment. Don't forget to save your settings when you're done. Now let's move over to checklists, which are items that can be graded as either yes or no, or on a 1 to 5 scale. Checklists are created by clicking on Checklists in the Training Elements section. Click on Create New Checklist, give it a name, and then on the Create Checklist button. Here we'll be creating a task with a New Task button. On the next page, enter the task in the text box and set whether it should be graded with yes or no or on a scale of 1 to 5. You can either click on Save Task to add the task to the checklist, or click on Add a Subtask to add another step to this task. You can create any number of tasks, each with their own number of subtasks. In the General Settings tab, you can set whether learners are able to fill in their own checklists. If they are, you'll also be able to set whether an admin or manager needs to confirm the submissions. Now that we have some materials, assessments, and checklists in the platform, we can build our first course. To create a course, click on Training, then on Courses. Click on the Create Course button, name the course, then click on the final Create Course button. The Course Content tab allows you to manage the materials and assessments in the course. To add content, click on the Add button. By clicking on the Add Existing option below Materials, Assessments, or Checklists, you'll be able to add your content. If you want to change the order of the content, click and drag on the 6 dots that appear on the left after hovering your mouse over a module. When hovering, you'll also see the Edit icon. If you click on this, you'll be able to edit the module-specific settings. Here you can specify how long the item must be viewed for before it's considered complete, as well as prevent users from moving past this module until it has been finished. Clicking on the General Settings tab will allow you to edit course-specific settings. For all settings, the platform will have descriptions that explain what they affect. The most important ones, though, we'll cover now. Course Active determines whether it is visible to learners. If it is turned off, the course will be hidden. This allows you to deprecate old content while still maintaining all of your course records. If you want your course to award certificates when a learner completes the course, enable the Course Certificate option. If you've uploaded a custom certificate, you'll also have the option to choose which certificate you want to award. Certificate validity length will re-enroll learners into the course after the specified amount of time has elapsed. This is useful for scheduling recurring training, such as for compliance or safety courses. To prevent certification and compliance lapses, you can use the early re-enrollment window setting to re-enroll learners into the course early. For example, entering 14 will re-enroll users 2 weeks before their certification expires. The course end and start dates determine when the learners can first access the content and when the course is due. Enrollable from web link enables a link that users can access to enroll themselves in the course. You'll be asked to choose a subscribe key. This is the password that users will have to enter in order to successfully register. Moving over to the Learner UI tab, this area will let you choose how the course is displayed to your learners. This is the full width banner, and this is the split width banner. Recommended Resource Center articles allows you to attach content from within your Resource Center folder to this course. After creating a course, you may want to include it as part of a larger learning path. To create a learning path, just click on Training, then on Learning Paths. By using the Add Course to Learning Path button, you can build a series of courses, each with their own training content and settings. Over in the Settings tab, you can enforce a sequence of courses, letting you build out structured training curriculums. To help your learners get engaged with their training, you could consider using gamification features to award points and display leaderboards. To start using gamification, click on Dashboard, then on Gamification. On the next page, ensure that Enable Gamification is turned on. The text fields are used to determine how many points each action is worth. Once you've entered the point values, click on the first badge. On the panel that pops up, you can change the badge image, the badge name, and how many points it requires before it can be earned. Click Update Settings and continue for the rest of the badges. Once finished, click Update Gamification Settings on the bottom of the main page. To further enhance your training, you can also use the Skills Tracking feature. This feature uses skills and competencies to track areas your learners are proficient in. Skills are what learners are awarded points in after successfully completing assessments, checklists, courses, or learning paths. These points are then used to determine what they're competent in. To get started, click on Training, Performance Tracking, then on Skills. To add a skill, click on the New Skill button in the Skills tab. Give it a name and description, then save your changes. Once you finish creating your skill, click on Competencies, then on the New Competency button. After giving it a name and description, click on Add Skills. You'll be shown a list of all the skills you added. In this list, use the checkboxes to select the ones that should be counted towards this competency, then set the number of points required. A user will need to meet the point threshold in all the selected skills in order to earn it. Once finished, click on Create Competency to save your changes. Now all that's left is to assign skills to your assessments, checklists, courses, and learning paths. We'll be using a course as an example, but the feature functions the same way for all the other elements and will be found in the respective settings tabs. After clicking on the course you want to add skills to, click on Course Settings and scroll down until you see the Skills Acquired area. Click on the Manage Skills button, then set how many points learners should receive when they complete this course. Now that your platform is set up and your content is ready, you can begin the process of importing users. We generally recommend starting off in the Groups area. Groups are used to segment your users into different cohorts, allowing you to more easily manage your training, progress, and reporting in bulk. We recommend spending some time now to decide how you want your groups organized, as it will save you time down the line. To create a group, click on Users and Groups, select Groups, then click on Create New Group. Give the group a name, then click on Create. The Courses and Learning Paths tab lets you assign training to the group. Members will be assigned the training as soon as it's added to the group or when they first join it. Just use the drop-down menu in the upper left corner to select the training and use the Assign button to add the training to the group. Clicking on Create a Subgroup will create a new group under the current group in the hierarchy. You can create any number of groups and subgroups, allowing you to mimic any kind of organizational structure you want. The Members tab is where you add users to the group. This is done using the Enroll Users button in the upper right. Settings will allow you to modify certain aspects of your group, such as its name and whether users can self-register using an enrollment link. Here is an example of what a completed group hierarchy can look like. You're now ready to begin adding users. There are two main ways to add users in SkyPrep. The first method is used to add individual users. Click on Users and Groups, Users, then on Add User in the upper right. Fill in the form and click on Create User. Once created, the welcome email will automatically be sent out. The second method uses a CSV file to upload multiple users at once. You can take a look at the article linked in the description for instructions on using this feature. After your users have been added and courses have been taken, you can use the reporting features to gain valuable data and insights. You can specify the parameters and areas of focus to suit your needs using the report builders. To begin, click on Reporting, then on Report Builder. From there, you can use the drop-down menus to specify exactly what kind of report you want to run. Once you've completed all of the steps, you can then preview the report within the platform, favorite it, download the file, or schedule them for email delivery. The Advanced Reporting area allows you to further tailor the final report to suit your requirements using custom filters and columns. The Edit Columns button will allow you to choose which columns are visible in the final report. You can also use the None or All buttons to toggle all the checkboxes at once. By clicking Add Filter, you can specify the rules that determine how the report narrows down the information it provides. Once you choose the main criteria for the filter, you can use the drop-down menus to finalize the settings. For example, choosing Last Login, After, and the beginning of the year will only show users whose last login dates were in this calendar year. Alternatively, by selecting Invert this filter, you can flip the logic around. In this example, the filter would then become users whose last login dates were not in this calendar year. You can keep layering filters on top of each other to narrow down the results to get what you need. When satisfied, just click Generate Report. Here you'll be able to preview it, download a copy, and schedule it to be run and emailed out on a schedule. With the reporting area wrapped up, you should now have all the information you need to get your training off the ground. If you need any further assistance or have any questions, you can contact your account manager for more assistance or submit a ticket using the button in the bottom right corner of your screen.